Hey, everybody. My name is Steve from the gym. This is the first episode of Fitness Sales, and this particular episode is telephone inquiries. So, if you were a young man like me working in the gym industry and you were curious about learning more about how to handle telephone inquiries, then this might be a video that you've clicked on because you want to know how to be better at telephone inquiries because you want to sell more gym memberships. So, I'll be going over plenty of different aspects of sales, but today it's just the telephone inquiries. All right. So, what we're going to look at is my job history, why I get to tell you how to sell stuff. 2006, I worked for Fit Life, Walterboro, South Carolina. We're a military family, wound up in a country town because we had some horses. Don't worry though, I joined the Army shortly after this and in the reserves. And because of that, I ended up getting into the gym industry while in the reserves and then transferred to being a full-time gym industry guy after I got out of the Army altogether. So after joining Fit Life and working at Fit Life, and my mother had actually worked there when I was in high school. I ended up joining the Army, went to Iraq, was active duty for a unit up at Fort Jackson. It was a CA unit. They were airborne, did a lot of different things. I usually just taught combat water survival and made sure everybody knew what to do, where to be for battle assemblies and things like that. Then in 2009, I was in the reserves and I took a job at Gold's Gym Forest Acres, it's Columbia, South Carolina. There was this small, rinky-dinky Columbia Athletic Center and Gold's Gym Columbia franchise, John Burris, bought that company, made it a Gold's Gym, and then at the same time, he built a brand new three-story, $12 million facility just down the street, which is where I begin really my fitness career, if you will. After getting out of the reserves, I took a full-time position, and it was around 2010. It might have been 2011. But I ended up working for Gold's Gym Irmo, South Carolina, same owners. Then they moved me over to Gold's Gym Lexington, same owners. Moved me over to Gold's Gym Killian Road, same owners. Now, at the end of my career at Gold's Gym Killian Road, they refranchised to Move Fitness. But while working for Gold's Gym, I got some of the best sales training ever. Ron Littlebrandt. It's a name that if you Google, it might give you a heart attack or it might make you feel a little bit better about this presentation. Ron Littlebrandt is one of the gym gurus, just kind of like Undercover Boss or Turnaround King or those shows where, like Gordon Ramsay shows up and he tells you why your gym sucks and he makes it better. That's what Ron Littlebrandt did for a living, him and his wife Mary. Ron Littlebrandt personally trained me on several different sales tactics and ways to look at business over the 2 years that he worked for us. But I was also given sales training from John Burris Jr. John Burris Jr., for people in Columbia that know John Burris or that everyone calls him Jr., John Burris is actually a good dude. He might have pissed some people off after working for him for too long. We get too close and then we become too close to really work for each other. That happens. Didn't really happen with me, but it happened with some friends of mine. And I worked for multiple gyms in the Columbia and the Charlotte area, and everybody knows the Burrises in Columbia. But I really enjoyed working for them. Some good friends that helped me along the way. John Murphy was one of our general managers or regional managers, really, for forever. He was always a great guy to talk to. I was going through a lot of psychological issues when I got out of the Army and went full-time gym sales. I was having a really hard time with that some days, and I had a really manic sort of episode for a little while because my life was falling apart. Baby mom was leaving me, and I couldn't figure out what I was really trying to do with my life. I wanted to be a bodybuilder. It wasn't happening yet. I was gaining weight. I was depressed. I was taking Adderall every day. I was drinking on the weekends. Things weren't great, right? But at Gold's Gym Killian Road, I started getting ready for my first show. Well, once I did a couple of shows, the gym was so irritated with me being a very successful now bodybuilder. I looked really fucking good. I got great genetics. So once I got on stage, man, I was hot shit. Anyway, I ended up leaving Gold's Gym and going into the construction world for a little bit. Ended up doing some supplement sales. Ended up moving to Charlotte. But before moving to Charlotte, I did get a small little BS job at Planet Fitness in Dutch Square, Columbia, South Carolina, just as like a personal trainer, but they were paying like 12 bucks an hour to like, which wasn't terrible. They were paying 12 bucks an hour to like, actually it sucked for the time, but I mean, it was, what are you going to do? Um, to be a trainer, but you didn't have to like have any clients set up for sessions. You just trained whoever wanted to train whenever they came in because it was just Planet Fitness, right? So that was actually a really easy job. I recommend anyone that wants to be a personal trainer to start at Planet Fitness. Now I moved to Charlotte, and I was doing the bouncer thing up there, working in some clubs up in Charlotte, and I ended up moving up there and got a job as general manager at Fitness Connection Lake Norman. This gym was going out of business. It used to be a Monkey Joe's, then it was like a Peak Fitness or something after that, and then Fitness Connection bought it. It was behind a brand new Planet Fitness, and it was behind Ric Flair's Gold's Gym on Lake Norman. So you had, no matter what road you took to go to Fitness Connection, it was a crappy facility. All the nasty lake lizards, that smell like sunscreen came in there every day with their leather skin and every whatnot. But that was actually a short-lived stay because they were going out of business. That particular location ended up selling their memberships to like the other two gyms shortly after I started there. I think I was there about 90 days and then I transferred over to Fitness Connection Lake Norman as a personal training assistant manager. And I was able to actually sell more training there than at the Lake Norman location. The North Lake location had a lot more people that lived on the outskirts of Charlotte coming to this location. There was still this weird feeling, this weird ominous feeling being in these clubs. I don't know why. There was just something about living in Charlotte that wasn't feeling very great. And even thinking back at it now, I don't know why I went to Charlotte. Charlotte was a really pretentious town. A lot of short guys with beards that make a lot of money, but they were the biggest pussies in the fucking world. So I got tired of Fitness Connection. I got tired of that girlfriend, so I ended up moving away. I came back to South Carolina. Next thing you know, my dad's going to Africa, so he needs someone to watch his house in Greer. Well, right down the street from this house in Greer was a corporate Gold's Gym. So I got a job there as a front desk dude just because I wanted to do something and still coach people online for bodybuilding shows. So I got a job there. And then my final gym career or my final gym job was I finally moved to Columbia, South Carolina again. I was dating a new girl and I needed to get a job because I just moved to town. My dad came back from Africa, so I was free now. So I got a job at Crunch Fitness in Harbison. And it's funny, I just visited there the other day and I saw the old owner who I saw the owner, Bill, who's a great guy, who was my boss when I left Crunch to go work for Trump's campaign security when I switched industries in 2020 to the security industry. So now I'm in the security world and I do bodyguard stuff and executive protection. But when I went from Crunch to the Trump campaign security job, I had had something really embarrassing. I got cheated on actually. And I was having a really tough time at work concentrating. And it was so embarrassing that when I finally was done with Trump and I got to DC and I was running the entire company, all the clients that we had in DC and all the freaking employees, all the officers that we had. I had probably 300 something officers. I wrote them a letter to cancel my membership because I still had an active membership. And I sent them a bunch of patches and stuff that we wore like on our uniforms. And I was just like, thank you so much, guys. Bill said that this job might turn into something bigger, and it totally did. And so now I'm been in the security world for a few years now, and I don't think I'll ever go back to the fitness industry. But that's just a brief overview as to my background, so that now, as we move forward through this, you'll understand that I know what the hell I'm talking about. So, what is a telephone inquiry? All right, well, a telephone inquiry is when a non-member calls your gym asking for rates over the phone. The front desk will take all the calls, obviously. For those that will require sales representatives, those are classified as TIs. If you need a sales guy for anything, that's a telephone inquiry. The front desk, as well as fitness consultant, will be required to follow their own script. All right, so let's get into the front desk script. So if you're working at the gym and you're not a salesperson watching this video, watch and learn, because there's certain things you want to say and don't want to say, and I'll explain. And I'll hope that this doesn't go too bad, because I swear to God, if I got to record this video one more time, I'm gonna fucking lose it. I gotta go get my little girl today. So I'm running out of time. So the front desk, it is so important. My very first training meeting with John Burris Jr. for front desk stuff. I'd already been working front desk for a few months. We're all sitting in this big office at the corporate place in Columbia, South Carolina for the franchisee. Is the little corporate office that they had there. We're all in the training office, and he says, "All right, you," and he points to me. And he barely knew me, but he knew I was a war veteran, so he liked me already. His granddaddy was too. He says, "The phone rings, ring, ring," and he points at me, and I go, "Thank you for calling Gold's Gym Forest Acres. This is Steve speaking. How may I direct your call?" And he goes, "My man." And then I was like, yes, I got it right. That is all that you are going to say when you answer my. You don't say hello. You don't say, even in the Army, it was, "Thank you for calling the 360 Civil Affairs Brigade Airborne, blah, 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 blah. This is Specialist Blackman speaking. How may I direct your call, sir or ma'am?" Like you always answer the call. If you're a serious business, at least that first phone call got to be serious, okay? "Thank you for calling Steve's Gym Miami. This is Caleb. How may I direct your call?" My friend Caleb's going to watch this and laugh his ass off. "Hey, how much is membership?" You got some redneck on the phone now. The front desk is already writing down the caller ID and waving to a fitness consultant, a sales rep, but we call them fitness consultants in the fitness world. He's already waving to the fitness consultant that they got a TI on the phone. Now remember, time is valuable here. It's very valuable. The quicker they get their answer, quote, quote, answer, because you're not going to give them an answer, but the quicker you get them on the phone with a fitness consultant, the faster we can get this guy into the gym, right? Time is money. And so you want to make sure you tell the fitness consultants, "Hey, I got a TI. Go sit in your depression chamber and wait for the call to be available." The time variable is a factor when people are already irritated. So move fast. Sigh of relief. "Oh, so are you currently not a member with us?" The guy's like, they're always thinking this on the phone. You're asking them this because you want them to say, "No, I'm not a member." You're making them classify themselves as someone that does not get this information so readily available, okay? There's some other reasons to it also. But you want to be able to ask them their name and it makes sense. And you want to set up this call so that you can have a good turnover to the telephone inquiry, right? No, I'm asking about membership." They're always going to try to just get the answer so that they can get off the phone. That's the quickest way for them to not come and join the gym. "Oh, one moment, sir. Let me transfer you to one of our fitness consultants. They can help you with membership." The front desk associate starts to write down the caller ID name. They've already got everything pretty much written down by now. And now they're just waiting to get you put on hold to transfer you over to the fitness consultant who's in his office waiting on you to be done so that he can answer the phone. "Okay, no, no, no. I just want the. Can I get your name?" Randy. Their name may not really be Randy out of fear. Just know that. Looking at the caller ID, they've already written down everything, the name and the number, but you still want to ask if you can, for their number, just in case they're on a work phone and you want their cell, something like that. Great. Is the 843-635-12 blah blah blah? Is that the best number to reach you at in case we get disconnected? People are gonna feel like you're asking too much questions. I wanted to ask the questions. Yeah, fantastic. One moment. Literally, this has to be fast. Okay. If you haven't already written down the information, get it written down. If you haven't told the fitness consultant that there's a TI about to be on hold or on line one or park to call, whatever your phone system says that you have to learn, then you need to now you have to page the fitness consultant immediately. Attention in the gym, or I forgot what I used to say. I used to say something like, I can't even remember now. I used to say, "Attention Gold's Gym," or "Attention Gold's Gym staff. Jay, you have a call on line one," or "Steve, you have a call on line two." That's, I think, what I used to say. That's it. They're gonna boop. They're gonna hear that. They're gonna be talking to some girl with fake titties in the fucking, yeah, 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 yeah. So yeah, I was at the movies, like last week. And bing. They're gonna stop. They're gonna listen. And they go, "Attention Gold's staff. Attention Steve Miami or Gym staff. Steve, you have a call or a TI online, whatever." that person's going to forget about the fake boobs that he's looking at and run to his fucking depression dungeon to go and take this phone call. And there he will have a TI script that he follows. The front desk has their own. We used to use little sticky notes that had these pre-printed lines to fill out for us. That way we could just stick it on the log and keep working and doing things and making protein shakes or whatever the hell. Then the fitness consultant's got his own TI script, and it's a little bit longer. It gets a little bit more details, but not really a whole lot of details because you're trying to get them in the gym today. So ultimately what you're trying to get is this appointment. But remember, this whole process is important for you to do your job correctly. If the front desk sets you up for failure, that might cost this membership. They might hang up if the front desk person sucked. Okay, so it starts with the front desk. They're like the initial heartbeat of this sales process, okay? After this is completed, the front desk must annotate this information on the TI log. Everything gets recorded. Everybody's name and number forever gets recorded. This is old school sales tactics. You record everybody that ever called this gym with a pulse, period. If they don't do that and the fitness consultant gets hung up on before he can get all the information from them, then the front desk would have gotten the information. And now that man's going to get a call back later tonight or tomorrow at the exact same time that he called the gym so that we can say, oh, we thought you were free this time of day because yesterday this is when you actually called us. I'm sorry. So anyway, moving on. That process is important though. So if you're a front desk guy watching this, do your job right so that the freaking person can sell, and then they'll always want you to be working and they'll always rely on you and trust you as a front desk person, and you'll be the first to be promoted into sales. If you do your job awesome, then they can never bitch at you for not having enough membership sold that week or whatever. Thank you for holding. My name is Steve. Am I speaking with Randy? Now remember, the front desk person said, you got a TI on line 1. Their name is Randy, or whatever. Whether you were running down from watching the girl with fake boobs or whether you were already standing behind the front desk just zoning out for the day, and they turn around going, hey, I got a TI, and then you scurry off to your office, okay? So thank you for holding. My name is Steve. Am I speaking with Randy? You should be filling the blanks on either this computer program that has the TI stuff built into the computer, which I don't like, but paper copy all that information that you can keep in a binder. That always seemed to work better than any of the computer systems that I documented these TIs in. There's something about the handwriting and the notes that go on those things that make you have a better idea of what it is you're calling when you call it in the future if they never came in and joined. So y'all will be the judge, though. Y'all tell me, does the digital systems work better? I'm sure there's statistics that say that they do, but I don't know if they really do. Everything gets written down. Okay, so now here's Randy. He goes, how much is the membership? Now, this is like the third time he said he wants a membership, right? So now you need to start getting him thinking outside of the whole, I just want answers and leave. You go, oh, well, we have a few different kinds of membership packages. What is it that you're mainly interested in doing? I mean, is it the weights? Is it the cardio or the classes? You can insert any other amenity that the facility offers. If it's an older lady, maybe mention the kids' care, maybe mention the pool, maybe mention the classes. That's always a big one. If it's a guy, mention the weights, mention the sauna, mention the steam room, mention the pool. Whatever you think they might be interested in off of their voice. They might surprise you later. I've had some guys that sounded pretty hardcore that came in just for yoga and tanning beds. There you go. And the guy goes, so what are you mainly interested in doing? Weights, cardio? The guy goes, well, now I want you to understand, whatever Randy says doesn't matter at all. Set the appointment. Listen enough to get the gist of what he's trying to do, but just realize if you talk too long, you lose the chances of getting him in today. 70% of people join the gym if they show up the day that they called. That's a real statistic that was taught to me by Ron Littlebrandt and John Burris Jr. and John Murphy. Lots of Johns. I used to lift weights back in high school. Now, this man sounds 50 years old. So we're looking at 30 years since he's worked out last, because that's the last thing he mentioned. Otherwise, he would have said, well, I belong to Columbia Athletic Club about 10 years ago, something like that. But he didn't say that. He said, well, I used to lift weights back in high school. So you're thinking, okay, 30 years, you're at least 30 pounds overweight. That's how it works. This is America. We're all fat as shit. It's a weight loss industry. It's not really a muscle building industry, even though it should be. And that's where sales training comes. That's where personal training sales comes into the picture. After we get them signed up, we're going to try to sell them a personal trainer because they're going to come here and do cardio every day. And we already know that that's not how you really lose weight. So, oh, okay, weights. Awesome. We have tons of weights. Dumbbells, bench, squat, Randy. I would love to show you the facility so I could go through all the different amenities that we have one-on-one and break down some of the different membership options that we have. What time could you get down here tonight for a tour? I got 5 p.m., 5:30, 7:30 open. All right, so you're already doing an assumative close that he's coming to the gym today. Now you're not selling him anything yet, but you're assumed closing him because you're saying you're assuming that he has time tonight to come down to the gym. Well, I'm driving home at the moment. Oh, great. So like 5, 10 minutes? You mean right now? Like, awesome. I'll see you soon, Randy. Just ask for Steve. Click. So now you got his name, you got his number, you got him answering, just that he wants some weights. None of that really matters though, because you're about to show him either a $12 million facility that has more stuff than he'll ever use, or you're about to show him the biggest piece of shit gym he's ever walked into, both of which might appeal to him. So it doesn't really matter what you have in that gym until he sees it. Okay. Now you can go on your TI script. It's going to have information where you fill that out. So can I get your number just in case something happens? You know, right? You can do the same thing the front desk did. You absolutely can. And it's on most every TI script. However, you can work around that by writing down the number and if you're slick enough and if you've gotten comfortable enough with your TI script, then you can actually close the appointment or get the appointment confirmed without really taking the time to ask him, Randy, what's your last name? All right, cool. I'm gonna put your number down. What's your number? Like little things like that. Just get the information you need to fill in the blanks of your TI script and move on. Do not let them for 1 second think that they are going home or that they're going to call their wife or go home and talk to their wife first. Absolutely not. They will chastise them and force them to get home without talking about it first. This is what you don't want. You want their money, and you want their money right now. And the biggest reason you want them to come in there right now is because that's the only way that they're going to also see the results. Just like somebody quitting smoking. Unless you stop right now, you're going to have an exponential amount of time, almost an unequivocal, an unquantifiable amount of time before you actually stop smoking. You're going to talk about it. You're going to play around with the idea for a little bit, and then you're going to hang it up for a little bit again because you've been doing that for so long. So getting somebody to start losing weight is a journey, but it starts right now. And that's what you tell them if they say, I can't come in today. And I'm like, look, Randy, I've been doing this a really long time. And you sound really motivated. I would love to get you down into the club for a membership tour. We have packages that are as cheap as $1 a day, but it's not going to start happening until you get in the gym. So what time can I get you in the gym? They might try to push it off until tomorrow. Their chances of joining have now plummeted. Their chances of showing up have plummeted into the ground. Because now by the next day, you know how many things are going to chip away at their time? Oh my God. They might go home. He might have an argument with his wife about even calling the gym. And the next day, he ain't going. So that's why you want them to act now. Log the appointment. So make sure to log each TI, whether it be a computer system or appointment log. It doesn't matter. It is crucial that you have 5 appointments verified for each day, every day of the week that you are working in this facility. Even on your days off, you want to have appointments confirmed for coming in that your other fitness consultants can sell for you. You want to always be closing, always be selling, always be setting the appointments. Every single person who calls your gym opens the door to the wrath of 3-time-a-day calls for 90 days or more if they don't call the gym, if they don't come into the gym. So I want you to understand that if they don't come in, everyone else is going to start calling that guy every single day. So it's really important that you get the credit for this sale. So you really want them to come in and join with you as soon as possible. But every day that they don't come in, their chances get cut in half of actually coming into the gym, joining, and losing any of the weight. It just keeps getting cut in half every day, cut in half, cut in half, cut in half. So that brings us to the end of this lesson today. I hope it was helpful. Honestly, I hope it was good enough to where when I rewatch this, I don't have to re-record this thing again, because I've taught probably over 50 people in the last 10 years, just hiring and, doing whatnot in the gym. I've taught so many people how to take TIs, but it's been a while since I've talked about it, since I've been in the security world for a few years now. So on this YouTube channel where we talk about sales and we talk about investments, money related things, I definitely wanted to have a few episodes on the fitness sales industry since I have such an extensive background in it, and get the point across that if you're working in the gym industry and you're a young buck out of college, it's your first sales job, you're 22 years old, just be motivated. Don't plan on staying anywhere too long. Something I learned at Gold's Gym was don't stay anywhere more than about a year to 18 months. That's your typical employee lifespan anyway, is about 18 months. It's some training I went through with Fitness Connection for managers. That's about how long people stay. So stay about a year at the club, but then be looking for that promotion immediately. There's no reason why a 23-year-old guy can't manage the gym. It's not a hard thing to do. So you can get into a management position within about a year and some change if you're really good, but you have to work hard. You're going to be working 60 hours a week, most every single week in the gym industry to make enough sales to impress the owners or to get yourself promoted or to just make enough money to where you feel like you're getting enough out of that industry before you switch over to something else. Because nobody stays in the gym industry forever unless they end up owning a gym or selling, like myself, selling sales platforms to teach people how to do this, or becoming a consultant where you go and you find a gym that's dying and you bring its production up and you ask for a piece of that for the rest of your life. At least you ask for like 1%, 2%, 3% share of the company's earnings. Stuff like that's what you'll get into if you're a career fitness industry guy like Ron Littlebrandt. But for the basic guy trying to sell gym memberships, good luck. It isn't the same. When I first got into the gym industry, people used to make 80 grand a year easily, just showing up for work, doing bare minimum. And the money was a little bit better in like gosh, I started working for the gym industry right after the housing crash, but the money was still, people were still used to paying $150 to enroll into a gym. And they were used to paying $45 a month for gym memberships that were these nice, beautiful $12 million gyms. Now the same gyms sell for no enrollment and $20 a month. So now the commissions aren't nearly as large as they were back in the day. So that's where all the money went with sales. The gym owners are making close to the same thing, but the gym sales guys are not. And that's because the commissions got hacked from the enrollment fees disappearing in the gym world. So that's where your money went. So gym memberships that are still doing enrollments, like a Lifetime Fitness in Charlotte. I heard that they were like 150 to join, and like it's like $100 a month. It's like insanely expensive. Those gym membership sales guys probably make a lot more than the guys that work at Crunch Fitness or Planet Fitness, for example. So always go for the nicest, biggest, most expensive clubs. You'll make the most money there. You can still live in the hood, but just work in the nicest places possible and work up to management, and you'll be okay. Hope this finds you guys well. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you made it to the end. If not, see you in some future episodes. Blah, blah, blah. Later.